Put your hands up if you love the original Splinter Cell game on the PS2. I can see a few of you at the back. You don't have your hands raised. That's fine. Maybe you just don't like stealth action games. Maybe you prefer Metal Gear. And I love the Metal Gear series as well, don't get me wrong. But Splinter Cell, the original, again, on the Sony PlayStation 2, it's got a place in my heart. I love that game so much. So we first heard murmurings of this. It might have even been confirmation last year. I think it was November sort of time, where the developers confirmed that a Splinter Cell remake is coming. So most people watching this will already know we are getting this remake at some point. But yesterday, as I'm recording this, so it's the 18th of November today, all of the gaming media got hold of concept artwork for this and some new quotes from the Ubisoft developer in regards to this remake. So I'll quote some of the lines from the Eurogamer article. Link is in the description below. It starts off by saying, "Today marks the 20th anniversary of Ubisoft's much-loved Splinter Cell series. To mark the occasion, the publisher has shared a smattering of concept art for its upcoming, but still very early in development, remake." Ubisoft announced its reboot, described as a ground-up remake, last December, with producer Matt West saying, "We're going to update it visually, as well as keep some of the design elements to match player comfort and expectations. We're going to keep it linear, like the original games, not make it open world." This is music to my ears, guys. It also reminds me a little of the Resident Evil remakes, which, funnily enough, I actually started Resident Evil 2 Remake a few days back. It was my first experience with the game. I finished it yesterday, actually. What an incredible experience, and Capcom nailed it. So what they did, if you haven't played them, they kept all the fundamentals, all the fundamental gameplay mechanics and puzzle solving and all that sort of thing that made the original game so good. But it had a 4K sheen with a good frame rate. I mean, this is on Series X, but it felt like a new game, but with all the good stuff from the original still intact. And it sounds like that's what Ubisoft are going to do with this Splinter Cell remake. So I'll skip ahead in the article, guys. I'm just paraphrasing here and picking what I think are important parts from it. It goes on to say, during a conversation between key members of the development team at the Far Cry 6 studio, Ubisoft Toronto, the associate level designer explained the goal of the project is to create a top tier remake to push quality as much as possible that should help us set a good foundation for the franchise going forward. That last part's very telling. Again, going back to Capcom and Resident Evil, it reminds me of what they've done with Resident Evil 2 Remake, 3 Remake, the upcoming Resident Evil 4 Remake. And they're doing this, Ubisoft, or it sounds like they are, by saying for the franchise going forward. So, will we get a Splinter Cell remake, a Splinter Cell 2 remake, a Splinter Cell Chaos Theory remake, which was a fantastic game back in the day. So jumping to the end of the article here, it concludes by saying, unfortunately, it sounds like the project is some way off, with the creative director confirming the studio is still very early in production. And these are quotes from the creative director here, and he says, "We're still prototyping, we don't want to rush anything, we want to make sure that we absolutely nail the game, we do everything in the right way, and we produce an absolutely stellar quality experience." So I'm hype. I am hype, guys. Take my money, Ubisoft. Actually, don't take my money. It could be bad. Take half my money. Yeah, I can't wait for this. I really, really hope this turns out to be everything it could be. I'm kind of contradicting myself because on this channel I have moaned that the remakes and the remasters kind of irk me, and sometimes it feels like some developers are taking the lazy route, let's just remake games we've had before. I don't mind when it is a remake of a game. I haven't played this since 2003, 2004, the original Splinter Cell. This is a long time. My issue is when we get remakes or remasters of games like Skyrim, and there's nothing wrong with Skyrim. I loved it back in the day, but we had Skyrim, and then it felt like we had another one arrive a few I was going to say a few days later, a few years later, and then we've had like 7 of them since, and they're really milking it, Bethesda. In this case with Splinter Cell, I've got no issue with it, just like I didn't have an issue with Resident Evil 2. But again, I'm probably contradicting myself, and it's just me being a huge fanboy just because I love the original Splinter Cell, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this project. Like with all the other projects that I'm interested in, I will upload news if and when I get any. Please let me know in the comments if you think the original Splinter Cell is the best in the series. And yeah, look out for more content coming to the channel. I'll speak to you all soon.